We spend more time with them. They love grandma.
You got two in Grand Rapids.
Okay, call the meeting to order. Ask all of you to stand with me and we'll say the pledge together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so we have the agenda before us. What's your pleasure on the agenda?
Move to approve.
Support.
A motion from Kathy and a support from Mark to approve the agenda. I'm sure I'll have some questions for our manager after he gives his report. Some of the rest of you may as well. So, all in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The agenda is approved. So the minutes for the meeting held on February the 27th.
I move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Okay. Have a motion from Mark and support from Kathy to approve the minutes of February the 27th as presented. Any additions or corrections that need to be made? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The minutes are approved. So, review and approval of the bills.
I move we pay the bills payable dated March 6th for a total of $556,966.58.
Approve or support, excuse me.
Okay, motion from Mark, support from Kathy to approve the bills dated March the 6th, 2025. Total amount of $556,966.58. Take a few moments to look them over and give the opportunity to ask questions.
I see we've made, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I see we made a progress payment on the audit. Have they been down here working on the audit?
I've been working on the audit, yeah.
Not you.
They-
Have they been
send-
down here?
It's all, I send it all to them.
They send it all to
Yeah.
them.
I've been trying, when time allows me to send.
Right, and this is the second payment.
This is the second payment. I haven't mailed it. Once I get my due date for everything is the 28th. I'm trying to get it all this day because I'm not here for that conference.
Yeah.
So I'm holding it till then, and then once I get them everything, I'm just gonna send it to them.
And we just make 3 payments.
Yes. That's the second one, and then the third one, usually when they come to present it, that's when I give them the other one.
I have a question. Woosner Brothers,
Where
we
they
got 12 headsets, Bluetooth. Is that something new?
Yes, that's so that the people in the high reach or any aerial lift can have a headset and talk to somebody on the ground to be able to communicate.
Nice. Good idea. Before they had yell or,
holler and wave and.
right,
Drop a piece of wood up there,
Nice.
that gets his attention.
Any others? All right, all in favor of the motion to approve, paying the bills, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. They're approved.
You're ahead of me. That one's all been signed.
Okay, now we have the payroll.
I would move we pay the payroll.
Support.
Okay, so a motion and support to pay the payroll dated March the 13th in the amount of $117,439.51. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Approved. That brings us to the treasurer's report.
Beginning cash and investment balance was $2,072,319.98. Total receipts were $822,976.83. Total in bills and payroll is $674,406.09. Bonds and escrow is $10,250. CD reserved for 2 trucks is $673,078.13. Ending available fund balance is $1,737,562.59, and outstanding accounts payable is $30,002.30.
Okay. Any questions on the treasurer's report? So I have a couple. I'm thinking that prior month we got like a payment from the state of over $1 million. Was there ever any more information come out why that number was so much higher than what we normally get?
No.
Okay. Then do we still have some receivables from townships from last year that hasn't come in yet?
I am waiting on one for material, and that's not that much. And then Allen Township for Hog Creek Bridge, but it was a 2-year period,
Okay,
and that's it.
so have they made
They made
the
it,
first payment?
yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody else, any questions? Okay, thank you for the treasurer's report, Ken. So we have, an appointment of 10:15 for a report from the Economic Development Partnership. Is that representative here?
don't see Sue.
No,
Okay,
I will find out after the meeting what happened. The first time is the weather, second time is double pneumonia, and now, I don't know what this time is.
I wonder if she just forgot,
I think she just forgot.
because we probably didn't contact her to,
They've been in touch with me for the,
yeah.
they've been in touch with.
Oh, they had that.
Yes, as
Oh,
of last
okay.
week.
Oh, okay, all right,
So-
all right. Okay, all right.
all right.
I'll have to,
So we'll move on then to, and open it up for public comments. And would ask that you would keep your comments to 4 minutes each. And just please refrain from using any profanity. So would anybody from the public want to speak? Go ahead.
Was here, Gary, this Jim Coors, was here 2 weeks ago, reference our work agreement. Still pretty concerned about it. I think that collectively we have a few minutes, if it would behoove the chair, vice chair, if there is a chance we can go into closed session so that we're not bargaining this potential contract out in the public's eye. And see if we can work on at least a couple things. Now, I'm blindsiding these guys, I shouldn't be, but I've been here before, done this, and it's worked out well. I think that we need to get moving on this. We're just about ready to move on to spring projects and scraping roads, and the guys are doing a good job. You know, they're waiting for some kind of response.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Howie Kelsering, House Neck Road, Jonesville. So just want to follow up on the process for scraping roads, all right? I sent an email to the commissioners, I assume all of you have seen it maybe. Deberming, you know, the way that we graded the roads for decades. I've lived on the same road for a long time, right? So when I go and I see, you know, after a rainfall especially, nightfall, I don't know how many have had a chance to drive down these gravel roads, or my road, House Neck Road. It's an obvious problem, right? It got scraped yesterday by a grader, which is great, except if there's no follow-up to that, then it's gonna be the same condition next week. The whole road is washboard. So if it rains, and it's gonna rain this weekend, then the puddles will be there, the puddles will get hit one time, the next time, and so on, and they'll become bigger and bigger and worse, and they have nowhere to go. If the berm is higher than the edge of the road, you can't drain. I've watched for years the trucks come down these roads, graded. I pull off, say coming home from work, pull off Millens Road on the House Neck. Hey, it's graded, great. The low spots where all the water contains, and especially if it's a heavy rain, it's going to get toward the center of the road. That's where it goes. It can't go the other way. Except the truck goes around the low spot, around it. So that just makes that deeper instead of bringing that gravel back in toward the center so that it can drain. And I've got these, in less than a mile, I sent 5 pictures, all separate pictures, okay? That's the condition of just that road, and that's just that mile. So my big question is, those who represent everyone, just drive down the road so you know what I'm talking about. And some do, maybe you do, maybe you do. If you don't, please do. That's all I really have for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Smith, I'm also on House Neck Road, and I sent out some emails, and I sent a text to Kathy because she's new to our area and lives just less than a mile from us. And I told her, I'm not attacking, I'm not complaining, but I was hoping she would drive down our road just to see what the people are talking about. We appreciate all the scraping and graveling and everything, but then it rains or the snow melts or whatever, and it just sits there for days, sometimes weeks, in the road. It has nowhere to go. And recently, I was just coming from Hillsdale. I know about the spring thaw, but this happens in the summer too. Or anytime it rains, or anytime we get snow. It happens in the winter. For some reason, we seem to be neglected sometimes, I think. I don't know, by accident. because the other end of House Nick Road has not one single house on it, but it's a different township, and it gets treated differently. 2 winters ago, I texted Kathy because you've got House Nick Road, US 12, Hastings Lake Road on that side, you've got Addison Road, North Adams on the other. They all got scraped in the winter, except our road. So I texted her because the temperature was fluctuating at night. It would freeze. We had a blizzard on Friday. We never got scraped. And we had this ice berm down the middle of the road that you could barely get through. It would scrape the bottom of your car. My husband said, I'll take the truck, or I'll leave you the truck, you take the car. And then he texted me and said, I thought I was gonna rip my muffler off. I texted Kathy Sunday morning, I think we got missed. This was a couple years ago. I was hoping she'd drive down. She sent her husband, but whatever, and said it's passable. Well, it was barely. We didn't get scraped Monday. Finally, Tuesday, we got scraped, and it had started to melt some. I think they put the blade all the way down because I came home on Tuesday after a storm on Friday to find mud, gravel, and everything up in my yard. So that's frustrating because that happens a lot. And then with the recent text to Kathy, it's just come down our road and you can see where the water just sits and you do nothing. I mean, you can barely move. We're not even going 5 miles an hour trying to get through there. Is it worse this year? Maybe, but this has gone on for a long, long time. And I was coming from Hillsdale the other day. You look at the paved roads, and then they've got a shoulder, and then there's the ditch. We don't have that. I realize we're not going to be like paved roads, but there's the road, and then there's a hill, and then there's a ditch. And so the water has nowhere to go. It just sits there. I work with the public, and so I get people coming in. I keep saying, go to the meetings, talk to them. Can't go down Straight Road. Can't go down Denning Road. You can't go down, I mean, it's like you're trapped. And everybody's saying the same thing. Oh my gosh, I've called them, I've texted them. There's a broken culvert, it's been laying by my house, and I'm not getting any results. I just asked the lady the other day, have you heard about the broken culvert? She said, hell no. I've called them so many times, it's not getting fixed. So I was asked to come to a meeting, and so here I am.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
Yes, I'm gonna follow up on last week's meeting. I asked about how to be put on the agenda. Wonder if you got an answer for that.
I think you would simply need to call the office and ask to be put on the agenda.
Okay, just call the office.
It will need to be something that can be put on the agenda, and negotiation is not one of them. But that needs to be done
Right, yeah, this was
by
about
the
negotiations.
bylaws.
Right, this was about negotiations, but I wanted on a couple weeks ago. But
Just let the office know what the issue is, so that we can look at it.
okay, well, last time I was turned down when I asked, but,
Okay. When I asked you what it was about, and you said negotiations.
I said it was about the union. Or discussing union business. And also want to discuss what I felt was an Open Meetings Act violation last meeting. Gary, you let your daughter, Jennifer Wirtz, our state rep, speak for 11 minutes, and you said you was making an exception. But there's no exceptions under Michigan compiled law 15.263, which talks about public comment. Everybody gets, because they say if you let somebody do more minutes than everybody else, it's considered bias or discrimination. So, in the public, or the Open Meetings Act, they have a handbook, and that's just the basic rules and laws, which all of you should know that, I would think. All public officials, that should be the first thing they read. But, I want to brought up again and see what you think about that. I just think everybody, well, if I know the rules like that and read them before, and I brought it to your attention, and not one of the members here said anything about it, to object or anything, to say it was, that it was wrong, so. But I believe it was a violation, and I ask you to all read the handbook, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, public comment?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I see you got the sign truck aerial lift on here as old business. I see you have it on the agenda. I was gonna make a comment on that. I was just kinda hoping that, we could get some oversight from, the board on this and maybe kinda encourage it to move along. I mean, we're 8 months into finding, common use vehicle, utility vehicle, right? These aren't exactly a needle in a haystack to find. Contractors use them, utility companies use them, and we're 8 months deep into this thing, not having a sign for it. So I guess that would be my comment is that, to ask the board for a little bit of oversight, maybe kind of hasten things along if we could. I don't know exactly how long that transaction's gonna take after, a bid's awarded. I don't know. But, and then I just wanted to make a comment on the negotiations. And I was gonna ask the same thing of the board, is if we could have a little bit more oversight, from you guys on that and encourage, to maybe move these contract negotiations along, because, I mean, they've essentially just flatlined. And we're already in a mediation phase. So, that would be my comment.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, David Cook. I'll reiterate what he's saying about berm. I know this, even at Lake Somerset, that's the whole problem. That's it.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Public comment? Doug? No. All right. Thank you. We'll move along then to the manager's comments.
Alright, let's see, I got a few things to go over here with you. First off is a fairly easy one. We've got a letter here from McChryssit asking if there's 3 open positions that somebody wants to put their name in the hat, or, put in a thing to fill one of those positions. There's one at-large position, it's a 3-year term from 25 to 28, and then the other 2 really don't apply because they're 2 Upper Peninsula positions for a 3-year term. So basically, this is a letter asking if anybody's interested to put in their information to McChryssit for and they'll have an election, just like we've done in the past. And so if anybody's interested, we have this just to tell you how to and what to go about sending.
Maybe I'll one in my house.
Okay, I didn't know if you guys all got one or not. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware if you were interested in that.
Thank you.
As far as the general update, the guys are out doing as much scraping with the trucks and graders as possible to do everything we can for the gravel roads. They've been doing that all week, and they'll continue to do it until we straighten everything up. To go along with some of the berm stuff, if the smaller berms that they can pull in, then we're trying to get them to do that. If they're the berms that have built up over decades, that's going to take a larger workforce and a larger project that we'll probably have to get with the townships, to just like we've done in the past, and there'd be a township project to ditch a berm or anything like that. So that's one place you can go, is to your township, to ask them about.
Can't you just take it a little at a time and bring it back to the center?
A little, but some of these, some berms are 1.5 to 2 foot high, and that, we just have to cut them out and haul it off.
For 2 foot high.
Oh, some of them are.
Isn't that pretty ridiculous?
It is. I totally agree with that.
As a township project, the township contributes financially, is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
yes. And there's a cost share policy that, says what we'll do with what.
I know there was some sort of misunderstanding, if it's okay to bring it up, cause Brown Road, paved road, we were told that, it was either go to gravel or get it fixed, and so the township contributed. But they ended up fixing the opposite end. of Brown Road.
They fixed
Then
it
what-
by a mile.
Yeah, yeah. From
See, that must be
what we
40.
thought is, I'm just saying, they contributed, but then everybody went, wait, that end wasn't that bad, and the other end got fixed. And so, I don't know. I know the township had to contribute money for that. That was just a couple years ago.
Okay.
And everybody just was surprised that the opposite end got fixed. I don't know what happened there, misunderstanding wise.
Okay, so anyway, we'll continue that. We do have like 1 or 2 crews out pothole patching, cause of course, we're getting potholes too. So wherever we can, hit that, we will. We had a meeting yesterday with one of our vendors that supplies our coal patch. And that'll be another issue that I'll bring to you here in a minute. But they had their parent company rep come down from Pennsylvania, which they're very well versed in the issues the Amish can cause for the roads. Because specifically, we brought them out here and took them out to Camden Road, which was from Camden to
Carpenter probably at least.
yeah, about Carpenter, about 2 miles there. Those ruts are horrible. There's actually some big potholes in there that the potholes themselves just need to get filled, but the ruts, they are coming up with a mixed design to try to either run through a paver or a box scraper to fill in those ruts with using like a modified cold patch that they've used in Pennsylvania, I guess. And so they're gonna get back with us on cost and, availability and all that kind of stuff we're doing. And they would make it right here, and then we would use it with our crews. To see what we can do to try to, and I know it's just I don't wanna say temporary, they're saying they did it in Pennsylvania on a few spots, and like 3 years later, it was still holding good. It's not gonna hold forever, but apparently it has enough give in it to where when the horses and buggies go over it, it kind of can give and kind of self-heal itself a little bit. Where hot mix asphalt, once it's hard and brittle, it'll break out of there and make potholes again. So we're looking at that. That's more to come on that. But that section of road is definitely in need of some desperate work. Let's see, the Elm Road Bridge, we submitted the permit to Eagle. So that's there and it's on to them now, so that's all they gotta do to tell us that they agree with it, and we can use that type of tube for us. The Buckeye Road west of Bird Lake Road culvert and the Somerset Road north of Stewart Road structure, which would be culvert. They met with Eagle on site the other day, and they're gonna send us their recommendations for that, for those two, based off of that. So we're just waiting on that for that. The federal aid project for the 2024 federal aid, which was Camden Road between Pittsburgh and Tripp. The contractor expects to begin construction mid-May. The project completion date is June 20th. And so they have to have that done by June 20th. The 2025 federal aid projects, the bid letting will be April 4th, and we'll meet that bid letting. And that's for the Concord, Herring, and Jonesville overlays. So that'll go through that bid letting. The 2026 small urban projects, we're working on the grade inspection package, mill and overlays for Bar Street and Spring, and an overlay on Mechanic. So we're doing the grade inspections now. Let's see. Bar Street, Fayette to Mechanic, Spring Street, Bacon to Bar, and Mechanic is the Lake Wilson to Bar. For the 2026 safety project, we're working on the grade inspections to install LED flashing lights and that have the border on the stop signs. And that's gonna include Bear Lake Road at South Hillsdale, Lake Wilson Road at Hallett, Squawfield Road at Waldron, South Hillsdale Road at Territorial, Camden Road at Waldron, and Meade Road at Territorial. So those are the ones that we're trying to get that through.
Those are the cost shared with
townships? No, that's a safety project so we will have a cost share with that, but that would be a safety grant that we would try to put these signs in.
So is that a federal grant?
I'm not sure if it's federal or state, but.
Okay.
But it's, like I said, that's just replacing the stop signs to the LED lit signs. So they won't, I mean, those are expensive, but it's not like a outrageous amount. The 2024 safety project is just waiting file review from MDOT, which should take place in the next couple of weeks, and I'll just close all that out. That was all the painting and the rumble strips and stuff that got done. This is just the paperwork to close that out.
So we still have some money coming from the feds?
No, this is kind of more of like the audit of it. This is just making sure all the T's are crossed and
It got done.
Yep. Soil erosion and sedimentation control audit went fairly well. But we have got 5 of us now that are qualified for that, and Heather passed the ones for the next level that we had to have, and so we're up on that. They're just wanting to make a few changes to our procedures on when we're digging and when we do these sediment control procedures. And he'll be coming out this spring to visit some of the sites that we're going to do. So, but right now we're meeting their expectations. Actually, he was happy to see that we had that many people involved with it. So we'll see how it goes from there. But it's mainly the changes in the procedures so that we do it the same way all the time. The local bridge program, the deadline for submittal is April 1st. This year we're limited to 3 bridges versus the 4 bridges that were in the past. So it's kind of gone from 5 bridges down to 4 bridges. Now we're down to 3 bridges that we can submit for. Yeah. So what we did, we basically took the same 4 bridges that we've been applying for. We took the Reading Road bridge off because that was the better shaped bridge and the less ADT there's less traffic on it. So that left Likely Road south of Camden, Hartley and Likely Road intersection, and Moserville Road east of Borden Road. So those are the 3 bridges that we're going to submit for this year's ask.
It's been what, 2 years?
3 that I know of that we've asked for these bridges.
Well, this will be the 3rd year.
Yeah, this will,
This will be the 3rd. Yep.
You're right, Gary.
And we've had nothing approved over the last 3 years.
Absolutely not.
Zip.
Let's see. The TAMC RT report is due April 30th. Heather's working on getting all the projects entered. We have to wait for final cost on some of them from Katie when everything comes in, so that we can submit the to the Asset Management Council and use the investment reporting tool on that. So we're just waiting on some information.
I guess explain to us, what that represents, or what. I mean, you used an acronym there that to me doesn't mean anything.
TAMC is the Asset Management Council. So we've got to report all of our projects to TAMC, and they compile it all, and then it's on a whole website that you can go to and see all the different stuff for the entire state, each county. But we've got to enter the report. The RT is a reporting tool that we have to put all of our projects in. And
so is this projects for 2025 or for the prior year?
The prior. So this is it's a reporting tool to say this is what we did. These are the amount of roads we did. We got this many lane miles improved. And that gets reported through and given to all the legislators to show them what got approved with that 51 money for the state. And it goes to every county reports them, and so they're trying to build a whole thing to say, this is why this is why we need $3.4 billion, whatever, to improve the roads in the state. And this is why, because we're only getting this many amount of roads done each year, and we need to get this amount of roads done. So it's just a tool that they're using to try to bolster why we need a bigger funding. All right, let's see, let's move on. Alright, so like I said, we went out and talked with UPM, which is our vendor that we get our coal patch from. They hold the bid right now, which is about to come up. They've sent us a letter asking to extend their bid for another year at the same exact cost from last year, and I said I would bring it to the board today. So it's basically, they're the lowest bid, it's 115 a ton. All the rest of them are 129, 139 a ton. They're right here local. They deliver it. So I guess I would ask that, I don't know if they take a motion or what, to approve the extension, a 1-year extension to UPM for our cold mix bid.
Support.
Okay, so we have a motion from Mike and a support from Mark to extend for 1 year the contract with the company we're getting coal patch from. And that's at the same rate as we paid for this last year, correct?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It is approved.
Let's see. Did last meeting Kevin talk about a trailer that we're looking? Okay. Okay, so we've been out looking to try to find something that we can haul, like the bigger stumps and chunks of asphalt, chunks of concrete, just the big stuff that we don't want to beat up our trucks with. There is one for sale that they're holding right now, if you guys would entertain it. It's basically a quad axle rock box trailer that would hook to one of our semis. The fourth axle can be raised or lowered, with air. And basically, they're asking $38,000 for it. We did a few comparables with different trailers, the same kind of year model and stuff. Some of them are only a tandem axle, some of them are a tri-axle trailers that are all well more than that, anywhere from 50-some to 88,000 for some of them that I've got out here. So Joe and Kevin went down and took a look at it. It's actually getting sold by Eric Rising, which I guess is a local
Excavation contract.
How much is that?
38,000 is what it came down to. Originally it was 55. We went and looked at it and talked to him, and he came down to 38. And
So this is a used trailer?
it is a used trailer. Yep, it's
What you did was really good because I knew what you did.
It's a 2004 Mack trailer, MFG, 99-inch by 28-foot. So basically, this would be a picture of what it looks like.
Why don't you pass that around, please, sir?
I'll just send the whole package around. But Joe said by looking at it, the frame and everything is in very good shape. We could definitely use that to help haul some bigger loads. And right now we have issues trying to, like when we put stumps in the back of a truck, they'll get stuck in the tailgate trying to dump them, and that'll help.
What makes this tailgate different than the tailgate of a?
The way it's hinged and it's higher, it's a bigger tailgate. So when it opens up, I mean, a major stump could go through there and not hit anything.
So you need a motion for that.
So yes, if you would.
I move that we pay Eric Rising $38,000 for the dump trailer.
So I have a motion from Mark and a support from Mike to buy this dump trailer from Eric Rising for $38,000. Any discussion?
Yes. Given our fund balance, kinda skimpy, given what we've just spent on trucks, given what we're spending on the sign truck, more than we expected, is this the right place to spend these extra funds? Cause this is the first time I've heard that we needed this type of a trailer.
Well, we've got a similar, smaller trailer than that that's, I guess, older than dirt. I couldn't even tell you how old that one is.
Well, they don't use that very much anymore.
Yeah, because
It is the same design and the same concept. It's a little bit longer. And it is a steel trailer. Is this steel or aluminum?
I believe it's steel.
It is steel.
Right.
So, I don't wanna get too involved with it, but if we're not going to use the one that we have, it needs to be gotten rid of.
Yes, and that's part of to sell that one, to take up some of this, but it's gonna get a whole lot. That's an old. Yes, for the price of this, I think it's a good investment. Being that these trucks came in so late that we planned in years past, don't plan on getting any new trucks for this year. So with that, I think that money that would normally be like looked at for 2 new trucks, I think we need to pick up some smaller pieces of equipment this year for this. You know, I'll be asking you for some skid steer attachments and stuff like that coming up. But this is one of our big complaints that we get, especially from the excavator and the radal operator when they're putting stuff like they're out digging up stumps and big chunks of concrete. Like I said, we don't want to put them in our boxes and dig them up. They would like.
And the current trailer, is it usable?
I don't think it's been used since I've been here.
It wouldn't take a lot to get it in use, but it is old. I mean, it is an older trailer and it has that. One of the things, if it were me, relying on our old semi trucks is pretty scary. So, you know.
And actually, we're a little late on this, where he was originally selling the truck and the trailer were in decent shape.
Right.
We didn't know it at the time, but he wound up selling the semi and just wound up with a trailer. If we could have got that, that would have been a very good trade. But so we will need to look at that too. But.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to buy this trailer for $38,000, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. It's approved.
Alright. So I think that brings us to the bid for the sign truck. And I think you guys did talk about that last week, and you elected to table it until this week. So I'll entertain any questions that you've got on it.
Did we formally move to table it, or did we just
No, it was,
decide to wait? I mean, if we move to table it, then somebody needs to move to take it off the table. If we just consented to, what are the minutes say?
I think you just waited.
No, there's a motion in the minutes.
yeah, what they say in the
Yep.
minutes, there's a motion.
Well, in that case, then we need a
I
motion
move that we untable the
to take it off the table.
Support.
Okay, so I have a motion from Mark and support from Kathy to take the issue of the sign truck off the table and present it to the board for consideration. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. It's approved, so it's up for discussion now.
How quickly can we get it?
From talking with them this week, it sounds like they're really ready to ship it. It's actually sitting in Texas right now. They bid.
Texas?
That's where they built it all.
Yeah.
That's where they put the post puller on the front on it. They plumbed it to handle a new post driver. That post driver, they're still waiting on, but they said they would ship it up here to the Custom One truck in Grass Lake. And that's who we'll do, that's the dealer we'll deal with for this. And we can pick it up from them as soon as it gets there. And if need be, we can put our old post puller on it for the time being. When the new post puller comes, they'll put that on. And they're saying mid-April for that. But I would say they could ship it up here within, I would have to say 2 weeks.
It was my impression the truck was already being shipped because we were gonna rent it.
It was,
What happened to that?
they were still mounting that equipment. It hadn't been shipped.
So it wasn't
hadn't
ready
been-
yet?
No.
Okay, because that was my understanding, it was
They were-
coming,
the truck
because
was
we were gonna
ready.
rent it until
Yeah.
we got the purchase agreement done.
Well,
Did they slow down, or
yes.
did,
Originally, they were supposed to try to get that to us the second week in January.
right,
And for one reason after another, and then it was the post puller and post driver couldn't get it. They finally got it, they finally installed it. Now they're still waiting on the post driver. But it's been plumbed and everything, so the hydraulics are there to use. It's just been, one after another.
So
And
there's still supply chain issues, is
Yes.
what it amounts to.
This is the same.
now they did say when I talked to them,
This is the only company.
and I'll have to get the exact amount for Katie, that because now really, as long as this got approved here and they're gonna ship it, we're buying it outright, that they're taking, I wanna say like $3,000 off of it, because we're not doing any kind of lease thing with them anymore. So that's actually,
Nice of them.
like where this was originally at 186, I believe.
186,
Yeah, 186.
185.
It's like 182 something. So that helps a little bit, but
That's what we want, let's get it here as quick as we can.
Okay, so, the issue is before us now, we already had a motion to buy the thing, I think 2 weeks ago, and then it got tabled. So we've taken it off the table, so any other discussion or questions?
I think part of that discussion at the last meeting was we only had one bid, and why did we only have one bid?
it was sent to
Everybody on this list.
4, 5, 6, 7 different vendors. Most of the time, this is kind of probably unique that, because Custom Truck will build the high reaches or aerial lift, because they use them all over the country. So they're kind of constantly building them. So they had one sitting there that built. Normally, when you're asking for an aerial truck like this, you buy the cabin chassis from Western Star, and then you have Truck and Trailer or Cannon or some other company mount the boom and everything on it. And so not a lot of them are, one company does all that. And so some of them didn't bid on it just because of that, because like, we sent it to, I believe, Truck and Trailer. Well, they normally would do the build, they wouldn't do anything with the cabin chassis. So Viking, probably the same way, but I've seen a few of them, from them have them sitting there, but, and when I was talking with leasing this from them, it was with their lease department, their sales rep, which is in Texas. So I don't foresee anybody even knowing, outside of a couple of us here, that we were even looking to lease one first. And they were under the understanding, yep, we don't know if we'll get the bid or not, but we'll lease it to you, and if we don't get the bid, we take it back, we lease or sell it to somebody else. There was no big deal for them, because they're such a big company. But I just think a lot of others just didn't want to do the whole buying in, and even if they did, it would take them 8 months to a year to get it brought in and built, and just because of the supply chain.
To me, it seems like, given the fact that we need it, and it would have been nice to have had some other bids to sort of see, what the real, quote, value was or cost was. But when you only have one bid and you need the piece of equipment,
You're gonna buy it.
I think at this point in time, we need to go ahead and get it.
So do we need a motion?
we've got the motion.
This was
Need a
discussion.
vote. Okay.
The motion would have been made 2 weeks ago, that we buy the thing and then it got tabled.
Okay.
So-
Forgot my Robert Rule of Order.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm here.
Granted, Mr. Vice Chairman.
All in favor of the motion to buy the lift truck for about $183,000, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It's approved.
What else you got for us, Bob?
Well, the other kind of goes back to the local bridge program. We have a resolution 25002, that's the application for fiscal year 2028 local bridge program that we'll need signed,
That will,
approved.
We gotta approve the resolution.
Yeah, that's the resolution to submit those 3 bridges.
And I move that we adopt resolution,
25-002.
thank you.
Support.
Okay, and this one, it looks like it requires a roll call vote, doesn't it?
yes.
I believe so.
Gary Leininger?
Just a moment, please. So we have, just so we all understand, there are 3 bridges listed here. We have the Moserville Road Bridge over the south branch of the Kalamazoo River in Scipio Township. And then we have the Likely Road Bridge over the Newton Drain in Wright Township. And then we also have the Hartley Road Bridge over the east branch of the St. Joe of the Maumee in Wright Township. So, everybody clear on that?
Mhm.
What the 3 are? Okay, Katie, go ahead now with the roll call, please.
Gary Leininger?
Yes.
Mike Marty?
Yes.
Mark Klein?
Yes.
Kathy Schmidt?
Yes. I guess it's also worth noting that even if these bridges are selected, this wouldn't be until 2028.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
Good point.
We got that one.
Not that it'll ever happen, but because of that, we will have to be prepared to do all 3 of them, if so selected. So that would be
You
a
mean we're gonna be that lucky?
significant, yeah, that's why it's not gonna happen. But I'm just saying, that we have, by part of this is saying we will be responsible if we were to get all 3.
We got any numbers for a lotto you'd like to share?
No. Luckily, these are all under the local bridge program, which is a 95% match, so we would have to come up with 5%, which would then get split with the township, because I believe these are all local roads.
Mhm.
And so it's a 2.5% per, for us,
Cost
and
share.
2.5% per township. And none of them are, well, other than the Hartley Likely Bridge, which is very unique, that's the only big dollar one, the rest are kind of a regular, just basic bridge.
Okay, we have that approved. Do you have anything else, Bob?
We need to go over the township contract.
Before we do that, just
Okay.
a couple of questions.
Alright.
Have we hired a person yet to fill the safety position?
No, we've had, one day of, interviews. Tomorrow we've got 5 more, and then that'll be all the interviews, and we'll go from there and decide which one we wanna give an offer to.
So, do we have some people both from inside the organization and outside that have
Actually,
applied?
actually it's half and half. There's 4 internal, 4 external that have applied. We did 3 of them Tuesday. Or what? Tuesday. And then we'll do the other 5 tomorrow.
Could I intervene on that? At one time, we had policy at the board level that was to hire within for that position. Now, it may have gotten changed. Back in the, I'm gonna say early 90s, the safety director was hired from within, and it was created policy to have it hired within. So, changed. I know that I worked on that to try to get it changed back to whether it would be hired out or in.
Okay,
Just food for thought.
yeah, well, we can review that, but,
Research.
okay, then just another question, was at a Camden Township Board meeting last night. I understand there have been some issues with Amish horses on Camden Road been injured. Were you made aware of that? Have you had any?
I haven't heard that in a
No.
long time, quite a while
It
ago.
was probably the 3 that we were notified last year about.
Okay.
We haven't heard anything recently.
Okay, I had the impression, but it was recent, but then I may have misunderstood it. The comments
But
of the
I
communication.
agree, that's where those deep potholes need to get filled.
Yeah.
The ruts are still, we've gotta do something to address them.
Definitely,
We're not gonna be able to address all of it this year. It's gonna have to be a multi-year, cause that would be, just to fill those ruts with coal patch would be hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we're gonna have to try to get the worst and the worst. There's one curve that goes downhill, and normally that's where the bad parts are, is when the horses are like, I think, trying to hold the buggy back. The toe corks are like digging in and just eventually wearing. So we're gonna try to do those bad and in the bad situations, like that curve going down a hill, or get those done first and then see how that holds up. We're even talking about trying a couple different things. We'll try 1/2 mile of HMA, a 1/2 mile of this cold mix, a 1/2 mile of, different things that we can come up with, see what works best. Because
we definitely.
the guy
have
from Pennsylvania, he showed up yesterday and, went to a hotel or whatever last night or the night before. When he showed up here and we took him out for a ride, and Sonia, the sales rep for UPM, said, you're gonna be surprised when you get out there. And when we drove the whole distance and we stopped and parked, and he got out and he's like, oh my God. He's never seen it that bad, even in Pennsylvania. So, we gotta get something done there.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So maybe trying a few different things, and we'll have to see how it holds up. And eventually it needs to be crushed and shaped, just like the rest of Camden Road's getting. But that's gonna be a grant process, because we can't afford to do that ourselves.
That's a longer term project.
That's a 2 mile stretch, so you're talking $1 million there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Matt?
Hillsdale Township wanted to know about their, I can't think of the word, their bid for Hallett to mechanic.
Contract?
Yeah, the contract, there you go, thank you, Katie. Heather sent it to you
Is that, okay.
for approval.
They're in your email.
Okay.
I think you said you were going to look at them when you got back.
Cause they, were doing their budget at their budget meeting, so they kinda wanted to know if they were gonna spend that money or not.
That was the one for Hallett.
Yeah, you were going from, you were gonna go from mechanic, and they wanted it shortened.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So now we have, under new business, we have, township contracts with Camden Township before us.
I do have one quick thing
Go ahead.
before you get there. I am going to Amboy Township's meeting tonight, and they're asking about those piles of dirt that they wanna try to use for fill in that one area. I'll talk to them about that, and then also I've got like 3 samples of the slag. Really only one of the samples, I'll take them all 3, but only one of the samples I would say we need to look at trying to use, and the cost. So I'll be there talking with them tonight, and just so you know. Thank you.
Well, I guess while you're on it, I'm gonna ask this question, is that, I don't remember what township, it was Reading Township, they had a problem with the gravel road and sloping, and an individual was supposed to make some corrections. What?
Oh, you're talking about,
That's an Amboy.
Amboy
Thank you.
Blaine, I'll also talk to him about that, and I've been in touch with him